And I just didn't have a life in corporate. And I thought I was climbing the right places, right? I'm like, oh, I'm a supervisor now, I'm doing this.
Yeah.
And then I realized I was climbing the wrong wall. I wasn't home with my kids.
Today's guest on True Talk is Digna Deleon-Morris, and started selling predominantly to the Spanish market and has sold over 500,000 so far this year.
And I see the hope and the dream to do something amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I cannot sleep. I'm up earlier every single day. I'm fired up every day because now it's not my why, it's the why of the team.
Yeah. Digna worked in the corporate America for over 22 years, starting her career as a cashier and working her way up the corporate ladder, but had no time for herself. Her why was to stay home with her kids, which she earned through FFL, and now her new why is to help everyone in her agency achieve their whys.
I'm actually 9 of 10 kids, which is crazy.
You're ninth.
I'm the number 9 of 10 kids.
Okay.
For my parents.
Ninth, the oldest or the youngest?
The youngest. I was the youngest for like 5 years, and then my brother was born.
Okay.
He took me down.
Wow. So of all the kids, you're the first one to finish college.
I was the first one to go to college,
Yeah.
and because of that, I'm so, grateful that my younger brother went to college. All of my nieces and nephews today went to college.
You set a whole trend, Digna.
I didn't realize I did until I see the numbers now. I'm like, well, that's pretty cool.
And you went to college in the States?
In the States. I went in New York. I have 2 college degrees, which they collect in dust right now because I didn't use them.
It happens. It happens.
I used my license.
Gotcha. So you were 17. You're born in Dominican Republic.
Correct.
Came here on your own when you were 17.
Yes.
What was that like?
Crazy. I left everything I knew. I thought I was in love, but I wasn't.
You came here for a lover.
It was, actually, I got married. It was crazy.
Okay.
So I was raised very traditional. My
Yeah.
parents were like, my father wouldn't
weren't
let me
happy.
go anywhere. I'm that kind of girl that never went partying, I had one boyfriend, married him, and then that didn't work out. And it was tough.
Was he from the States?
He was from there too.
Okay. So y'all married, and then we're going to the United States.
Yes, we started a new life.
You never been here before?
I've never been here before.
Okay.
Prior to that, I was a kid.
Yeah.
I was like 105 pounds, and then I left my whole family. And that was the toughest part of my life.
I bet.
I think I lost, I was 105 and I lost like 5 pounds in my first week. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to disappear. Yeah, it was tough, but I started working 2 weeks after I came to this country.
Okay.
And
did you come to New York?
New York.
Yeah.
Yes.
What part? The city?
In the city, yes. Manhattan. And I worked in a drugstore.
Okay.
And I was in that job for 22 years.
Wow.
I graduated college. I had my daughter. Obviously that marriage didn't work out.
Yeah.
So I was a single mom for a short period of time. Went to college. This is my schedule. I would get up early and get my daughter ready, take her to daycare, go to work, come home, take her to my friend to take care of her, then go back out and go to college, get home at midnight, and then do my homework, get up at 6 a.m. again, and I got 2 college degrees doing that.
What are your degrees in?
My first one was in education.
Yeah.
And my second one was in liberal arts and business.
At that point, what was your plan, Digna? Where did you think you were going to be?
I was going to just climb the corporate ladder.
Okay.
I just wanted to get a position in a corporate, I worked in drugstores.
Yeah.
And I did. I did pretty well. I got promoted, hardworking girl. Like I was the hardest working girl in the
And
job.
you started as a cashier?
As a cashier, $5.25 an hour.
Yeah.
And
what were some of the jobs you worked your way up to?
I was assistant manager, store manager.
Yeah.
Then I was running the number 1 store in the country in Grand Central Terminal, where I met my husband.
Yeah.
And running that store gave me so much light within the company. Then I got promoted. I became a supervisor. I had 19 locations.
Wow.
And then I ended with 30
Yeah.
drugstores in the state of New Jersey.
And you were there 22 years.
22
so same company.
years, same company. The last 15, I was a supervisor, thousands of people. And I did well, right, in that environment. I had a 6-figure income, all the benefits, but I don't have a life.
Right.
I'm a mom of 4 today.
Wow.
You know, happily married to my husband for 24 years.
You guys met at Grand Central?
At Grand Central Terminal.
Did he work for the same company? Or
he worked for a different company
Okay.
in Grand Central, which was crazy.
Yeah.
And God brought us together, and 4 kids today. And I just didn't have a life in corporate. And I thought I was climbing the right places, right? I'm like, oh, I'm a supervisor now. I'm doing this.
Yeah.
And then I realized I was climbing the wrong wall. And I'm like, I need to be home.
What made
with
you
my
realize that?
I wasn't home with my kids. I was never home. I missed out on a lot. And
How old were your kids at the time?
Oh my gosh, well, everything changed for me when my last baby was born, Stephen.
Yeah.
That was in 2011. So I had Stephen was just born, and then I had a 2-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 13-year-old.
Wow. So all young.
Yes, and I was like running around somebody else's business.
Yeah.
$82 million operation in my shoulders, 7 days a week.
So there's no off switch.
Crazy.
This is why I try not to. My wife gets mad when I say this in front of the kids, but I think homework is bullshit. Well, because you're conditioned the kids so when they get older, right, they work their way up and then they take all their work home because they're so used to, you got to do it. I'm like, I send my kids to school for you to teach them there. Because then you know what happens? They come home, I end up teaching them, or my wife. Like, I'm not a teacher.
We gotta do half of the work.
No.
Yeah. I got my kids reading books like, personal development.
Yeah, there you go.
At home. That's what
Absolutely.
I have to do.
So you realize, what was it about the birth of Stephen that made you realize, like, okay, this is enough?
So I was at this corporate job, and then my husband started doing businesses, right, and network marketing. And I had this, I could make some money there.
Yeah.
And I saw so many stories of success, but I was making excuses. I was like, no, I have a big job. One of the things that I see a lot for people is that the reason why you're doing something becomes the reason why you don't do it.
Right.
And that's what was happening for me.
Okay.
So I wanted to be home with my kids. So I said, I'll try some businesses. But then I'm like, I don't want to not be home with the kids. So I wasn't doing it. So 2011, I'm pregnant with Stephen. I have a great pregnancy. I go into delivery. Everything's cool. I had 3 normal kids, normal deliveries.
Yeah.
Middle of the night, they just take me and something is happening. The baby's not breathing. They can find the heartbeat.
Wow.
It was so crazy. They took me into the emergency and I had a C-section and my baby almost died.
Oh my God.
And that changed my life.
Yeah.
Because it physically was painful, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't know, but I know the ladies could understand.
I've
me.
been there on the other side, but hey, it looked painful.
The ladies could understand. So I have this physical pain, but my emotional pain was like, oh my gosh, in 8 weeks, I'm going back to corporate, and I'm not going to be home with this baby or the other 3.
Wow.
And I made a decision that time, and I said, I'm going all in with the business.
Yeah.
And I had so many excuses and things that
You had already had some business.
Yeah, we already had a network marketing business.
Okay.
I was doing okay, but my husband was doing it by himself.
Got it.
And raising the kids.
So you're working the corporate job. He's doing the network marketing. You're kind of helping out a little bit, but it's all on him.
But it's like, it's on you. And I'm like blaming him. And then I just
we always get blamed.
Yeah, I know. I just went crazy. And I just, in 6 months, I left. We replaced, because it helped, obviously, a 6-figure income from corporate. And then I went home, and I was there for my kids. It was great.
What was it? Were you guys selling products?
We were selling products.
Yeah.
We were building a team. I tell you, we actually built a team of 13,000.
13,000.
13,000. We made millions of dollars in that company.
Wow.
And we were like the Latino guys.
Yeah.
We had a big team.
Were you still in New York at the time?
New York.
Yeah.
But then the company, network marketing is a very special industry. So the company went crazy, and then we lost everything.
Got it.
Totally. Like 2016, it was the worst time.
They go out of business? Or?
Well, the founders did some crazy stuff. They had to sell the company. And then, imagine you're doing, $30,000 a month, and then you go to like 2,000. Mm-hmm. And then we didn't have any financial education at the time. So we were spending everything that came in.
Got it.
So we had to start over, and then
because you had already left your job, right?
I had already left my job.
And your husband was doing this full time.
This full time. We're both full time now, and we had to start over.
So 4 kids, you're supporting them with this business, and that's the thing. People think, "Oh, I'm gonna start a business, and everything's gonna be great." Oh, it could be.
It could
and
be.
then it might not be.
It might not. That's what happened for us. And we're like, oh, what do we do? And then my husband, he has a friend. He's talking about insurance. And he's like, well, you're the one that likes to study. Go get a license. And I'm like, no way.
Wait, so he found insurance and he's like, you're going to go
You get a license.
Okay.
And I said no. I was like, there's absolutely no way. I got a college degree. I'm not getting an insurance license. I was fighting with him. And then I said,
why were you so against it?
I just thought it was a step down for me, which is crazy, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, no. And I knew I could get another corporate job, but he also knew I didn't want to do that.
Right.
So we started insurance against my will. So
you did get licensed.
And I did get licensed, and I just didn't really do it.
No?
I got me a job, which I hated. That was my motivation. I'm like, I couldn't do this again. So then 2020, we were all in the house. I'm like, I have to get to work in this business. And that's when I really got started.
You got a job in the insurance industry?
No, I got a job outside doing what I was doing corporate. I just called a friend, and I had a job like the next day. Because I spent 22 years in the industry. It was easy for me to get a job there, but I hated it. I was like, I don't want that.
Yeah, how'd that feel? Like going back, because you lived that world for 20-something years. You had Steven. You worked 6 months to get out of that. You guys are making money. And now it's like you're back to where you didn't want to be. What was that? How humbling is that?
I cried every day.
Really?
Every day. I was hating my husband every day.
See, yeah, of course, his fault.
poor Willie. He got a lot of, it was really tough. Yeah. It was very humbling. And I know how to do that business because it wasn't hard for me to do the job. It was so emotionally like.
What is the last thing you wanted to do?
I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
So then I went to work insurance, and I was able to make 6 figures in insurance. Okay. Friends and family.
No leads.
40% commission, no leads. Right. It's crazy. So I was working really hard.
Yeah.
And then I realized I'm still not making what I used to make in corporate, but yes, I'm working from home, and I was doing Zoom meetings. It was infinite banking at the time. So I was really good at having my friends, and I had a little agency, let's say 10 agents, and then they'll bring people, and I was always talking to people. It was a lot of work.
Yeah.
A lot of talking.
Yeah, how'd you get, because I feel like once you, or maybe you had a big network because of your, past, but we only have so many friends and family, right? You only sell to the same people. So what'd you do when you kind of exhausted your immediate friends and family?
I had to recruit and then have them get their friends and family. It was tough. Well, I was after my brother for 5 years to do a policy.
Really?
So that's how tough it gets there. But then, I was like, this has to be something better. And I'm a student. I'm always learning, and I was looking for information, and I'm like, there has to be something better than this.
Yeah.
This cannot be it. And, they don't want you to go into social media. They don't want you to learn anything. They take your not knowing as their leverage. Like, no, you can't do that. It's against the law. you know? So I was like, I'm going to find out. And one of my friends that was working with me at the time, she's like, there's an event. We should go. And we went to this event for one of the industry leaders. She just trains everybody in insurance, right?
Okay.
And
it wasn't our event.
It was not your event. It was, I don't know if I can say his name, Cody Askins.
Okay.
He trains insurance agents.
Yeah, we've done some lead stuff with him in the past.
Yeah, so I went, and I went with my 10 agents. I'm like, I'm a network marketer. I'm like, you guys got to go to this event because I believe in that. Let somebody else tell you about it. I don't want to be the one always talking to you. So I brought them there, and we went to the VIP. And when we hear all these people talking, oh, yeah, we qualify our clients right away. We get paid daily. And they talking big numbers. And I'm like,
what the hell are you talking about
where
over
have
there?
I been all this 4 years? So I was like I was blown away, first of all. And then I was like, I got to hear more. And that's how I signed. I actually recruited myself into Family First Life with my agents. It was a game changer.
And prior to that, you've not even heard of FFL?
Never. They didn't let me look at anything else. They used to say, don't look at those videos because those people are lying.
Right, they're lying.
So I never even looked into it. I believed everything they said. I was so naive.
Yeah.
That's one thing I regret.
Yeah.
But then, everything happens for a reason.
Right, it does. And I think that's just part of, unfortunately, the industry. Like, there's the company we came from prior to the same way. Like, anything they say out there is not true. Right. The comp you have is the best ever. This is the best. Then you start looking like, well, why are they getting paid more? Why do they have other options for leads? Why do they have all these carriers and we don't have them? Right. So you I was reading in your notes. It says you were a secret agent.
Secret agent.
So the place you were at before was a captive agency?
Yes, so I couldn't do anything else. I couldn't get any other contracts. So I was like, and then my friend, and because I brought my little team with me, she started running in homes, and she's like killing it. And I'm like, I'm like, no, I got to do this. So April of 22, that's when I was free, and I went all in. And like May of 22, I got my logo. I went wild.
You started in April, and then you had enough production for a logo in May?
June, I got the official logo. Yeah, the official logo.
Wow.
Yes.
And I was looking at your personal stats. So 2022, you started in May. You finished a little over 200,000, 214,000 for the year personally.
Yes.
What was the most you have sold in a year prior to that when you were friends and family?
40% commission, about 150.
150,000.
Yes.
At a 40%.
At a 40%. So I had to work really hard to get that number.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And then 2023, you did 231. But so far this year, you've already doubled your volume. You're at just under 500,000 for the year.
Correct.
What happened this year?
IULs.
IULs.
Yes. I transitioned to IULs, and I started working in Spanish, which is, my gosh, amazing.
So you weren't before?
No, I never worked Spanish in this company or the previous companies ever. Like 2023, because we didn't really have. For me, it's more like if I'm going to bring an agent to work with me, I want to support them the right way.
Right.
So I didn't feel that I had that before. I didn't have leads in Spanish. I didn't have systems. So I went and created them.
Yeah.
And
you've been a great help to us here, and I know at the Ignite event, and then you're doing a lot with us for the Spanish convention, which is awesome to see because that is a market that's either underserved or unfortunately taken advantage of.
I tell you what, Mike, there's 62 million Hispanics in the U.S. 1.1 million came last year.
Yeah.
The average income for a Latino family is $38,000 a year.
That's crazy.
And they work in construction. They work in cleaning, Uber, Lyft. And some of these people are professionals in their countries.
Absolutely.
My team today, I have lawyers, accountants, I got doctors, you name it. And they didn't know that they could get a license in Spanish,
right? And
then sell at a high level in Spanish, and that's what I'm teaching them.
That's awesome.
I'm passionate about the Hispanic market.
How many active agents do you have right now, roughly?
I have over 300 agents, but writing business every month, about 85.
85. Of the 85, how many speak Spanish?
I'm going to say about, let's say 75.
75%. Wow.
Like my whole team.
Yeah.
I went crazy in 2023 recruiting in Spanish once I built the systems and had the lead system and everything for them, and they're killing it.
That's awesome. And we started this last year. Well, we started probably 3 or 4 years ago having a Spanish section at our convention. Like the first year it was like, a 3-hour meeting. There's probably 50 people there. Yeah. Following year, it was like an all-day thing. There was maybe 80 people, right? Yeah. But last year, we had it mimicked the convention schedule, right? It was the whole time. We had a keynote speaker. We had a DJ.
It was amazing.
It was amazing.
We had a party there.
Yeah. I mean, it was over 500 people there.
Yes. I brought like 50 people myself, that convention, and we went on fire after that. Yeah. It was amazing.
I'll tell you what, y'all did have a party. I mean, so much of a party. Sean fell off the table. There is footage of that. You can find it out there. Yes, he got right back up and started giving out leads, though, so that was good.
He did it again at the night meeting. He got on the table.
He didn't fall this time, though, right?
No, he was good.
He just got up and was like, you get some leads and you get more leads. But it's great to see what you're doing with that demographic, that population, because like I say, in our industry, there's company, I won't name them, but where I say they prey on, minorities, and they'll set them up, same like this place you're at, 40, 30% comp, bring in all their friends and family, sell to them, and the turn they don't care.
The training is do a list of 200 people, and then they go write policies for them.
Yep.
I have an agent. I have several, but I have an agent that's been in the industry for over 9 years, and she made some money, but never more than $40,000 in a year. She just closed out Hall of Fame, and it's been in 10 months.
Yeah, she said Hall of Fame. What's her name?
Pilar Arroyave.
Pilar. Congratulations.
All Spanish, and
all Spanish.
Yeah, and I have a Fraser Ramos who. I mean, the girl was working a job.
Yeah.
Single mom at the time, driving 4 hours a day, didn't see her family, came in here. First policy was more than the income she had in 2 weeks of pay at her job.
Wow.
Today, she's got her logo.
Yeah.
Got a big agency. She's doing $300K a month with the agency.
Wow.
An annual premium.
Yeah.
Right? So amazing to
great.
be able to change lives like that.
So how many Hall of Famers you think you'll have this year?
I'm pushing for 3 or 4.
3 or 4, all Spanish.
All Spanish.
See, I was talking to Ellie. I think it was Nicole. We were talking about the recognition levels of Hall of Fame, right? And they're like, well, so the Spanish community, they're just getting going, and should we lower it? I'm like, no, we should not lower it. We should just keep finding more agents. So maybe we'll only have 10 Spanish-speaking Hall of Fame agents this year, but next year we can have 20, 60, 80, 100. Let's not lower the bar. Let's just get more resources and keep doing what we're doing.
100% agree with you.
Yeah, well,
100%.
Thank you for what you're doing to lead the charge. You've already qualified first time, so congratulations there. What about your agency? Where are you guys at year to date?
About $5 million.
$5 million.
Yes.
Nice.
That's exciting.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, I mean, at this pace, next year you'll be a Hall of Fame agency owner as well.
Oh, absolutely. I wanted to do it this year.
Yeah.
We just
still
closed,
got some time. Be close.
I tell you, we close out October.
Yeah.
With our biggest month.
You did? How much you guys do in October?
$907K.
Wow. That's awesome.
That's a dream because I wanted to get to that $1 million a month. I mean, we submitted over $1 million,
right.
but we issued.
Well, you should be there in November.
Yes, absolutely. So we're gonna be very close. Unless we go like really wild and crazy after this podcast and we get all the Latinos.
There you go.
And we close out Hall of Fame agency. Yeah, I'd love to do that.
Awesome. But even if you don't next year, it's gonna be no doubt.
Yes.
At that pace, $1 million a month. So
I agree.
Well, Digna, I got some fun stuff for us here. Okay. So you've been selling insurance for a while, at a high level, which is important. I'm going to throw some statements at you, and you're going to let me know. I'm going to rapid fire these. You're going to tell me if they're true or false. Okay. And then we'll pick a few to discuss. So we'll start with this. You should only buy life insurance when you're older.
False.
The first thing you should do with your commission is pay off all your debt.
False.
Term life insurance is always the better choice.
False.
The best way to sell insurance is to your friends and family only.
False.
If you have insurance through work, you don't need to get your own policy.
So false.
We're false across the board so far. Once you have life insurance, you never have to think about it again.
That's in the middle there.
Yes. Yeah, I'd say false.
I think it's false because you always need more.
Correct. Life insurance agents only care about selling policies and not about your client's needs.
False.
People with pre-existing conditions can't get affordable life insurance.
That's false.
We're false across the board. Yeah, so we'll pick a few here. So one that may be confusing to some people is the first thing you should do with your commission is pay off all your debt. That's false.
That's false,
Why?
100%. Because you got to grow your business.
Correct.
I mean, to me, it's like you're killing the goose that's laying the golden eggs, right?
Right.
To me, it's like you pay yourself first. And how I pay myself first is buy more leads. Because I could take this whatever commission, $5,000, and turn it into 15 if I do the work.
Correct.
But if I don't do the work and I go pay my bills, and then now I have a chargeback and no money,
right,
sucks.
Yeah. And we're not saying like, hey, don't pay your mortgage and lose your house. Right. But like I say this so often. You get a new agent that gets started. They got some credit card debt. They got this. They get their first commission check, and you're like, you got to buy leads. Oh, I have no money, Mike. Well, what'd you do? Well, I had to pay my Capital One bill. Like, bro, you've owed Capital One for like 6 years.
Right. Why not?
What the hell is one more month going to do? Now you have no money for leads.
Crazy.
You have no clients to go see. Now you might as well go work at Digna's old company and call your friends and family.
Yeah, that's it. I tell you what I've done. My husband's like, mortgage is paid, right? I'm like, sure.
Sure.
Yeah, Facebook got that money, and we're going to buy more leads. We're going to be a little late.
There you
go.
go.
You know what? And then you just go and 10x that money or whatever 5 times, because now you got bread and butter. You could go call clients that actually want insurance.
Absolutely.
And, yeah.
It just takes like it's mindset. It's thinking bigger, right? Yes. The guy who thinks small-sided, takes that $5,000 in commissions and runs back and pays off Capital One and done. Yeah. But the guy who thinks big goes, you know what? Maybe I'll throw $500 at it and I'll take the rest to buy some leads, so I have people to meet with next week. It's like it's like owning a restaurant. You run a pizza shop.
Yep.
You ain't doing much without pizza dough.
Nothing.
You buy it once, you use it. Oh, I'm all out. Well, what are you gonna do now? You're gonna buy some more for next week.
That's right.
You got to, and that's kind of like leads. It's like gas in your car. You can only get so far on one tank of gas.
That's it. Let me tell you, I trained my family. I said, first bill that we pay here is Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
We need leads. Everybody already knows. Mom, you got leads? Yeah, we're good. We got
Right.
leads.
Then they start asking
Then we
for
can
stuff.
get anything
Yep.
else.
So you're doing all your leads on Facebook?
I do. So we created this whole system in Spanish, and it's amazing because, like you said before, that community is so underserved. And when you find a financial professional that's using the whole license like we do now, and you could speak in your language and they could understand each other, is huge.
Yeah.
And then we're able to protect the entire family. Latinos, we like to have a lot of
yeah.
kids and a big family,
Absolutely.
and we love to recommend something good. So we do get a lot of referrals from that family because we always going to go and do a good job for them, right?
Yeah.
We're going to do our best.
The one you were kind of mixed on, I said, once you have life insurance, you never have to think about it again. And I agree, that is false, but why?
In a sense, but yeah, what I like about that, once I get it on my age and health,
Yeah.
I'm locked in with
Sure.
that.
Yep.
However, I feel that most Americans don't have enough life insurance.
Correct.
You should have 50 times your salary in life insurance. My family, Mike, oh my gosh. My kids have like 3 IULs,
Yeah.
infinite banking. I have like $1 million term with Ethos, and I have literally 7 policies because I'm Preferred Plus, and so is
Right.
my husband. And I'm like, that's the first thing we do in our family.
Yeah.
Like, I know my family's going to be okay. Like, even when I talk to a client, it's like, my family's okay. We need to protect yours.
Right.
So, yeah, you never have enough.
Yeah. And that's
Absolutely
one of the
not.
reasons, not the only, but one of the reasons why you've done so well is you believe in what we do, or you wouldn't have so much insurance on yourself.
100%.
You can't sell, or you shouldn't sell life insurance if you don't own a policy.
I tell my agents, that's like number one. You need to be a product of your
Yeah.
product because it's so different when you talk to anyone. And I tell you a quick story. I have a friend in 2020. He was losing a lot of money in his 401k. I was in my practice company at the
Yeah.
time. So I was doing infinite banking. So we were able to save his 401k and move it over and do all these things for him. And I have, he got a life insurance policy through that. And in 2023, he called me. This is somebody I know. This is a friend. And he had a chronic condition. And we filled out some paperwork, and that policy paid him $75,000.
Wow.
He was able to pay off his mortgage, which was like $30,000.
Yeah.
And then he was able to take care of himself.
Yeah.
And he's doing well. And to me, that means everything.
Absolutely.
Like, because of that policy, he didn't die from the disease, right? He's okay.
Right.
That means a lot.
Yeah. Imagine if he didn't have that, what that extra stress of hospital bills, whatever, what that would
gosh.
do to that
When
individual.
when I found him, he had a term policy that was going to expire the next year.
Wow.
He would have been in a lot of trouble.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Yeah, it's not always once you have it, you're all set because
No,
you can have a term policy.
Right.
There, I guess it would depend on what policy you have, who you get it
Correct.
from. I mean, we've all been in those situations where they have all the coverage in the world, and they start pulling out policies, and it's all accidental.
Accidental.
I've seen people pull out policies that have already expired. I'm like, well, you haven't died yet. This one's gone. But a lot of times the client most of the time they get the policy delivered to them. No one ever goes over
look at it.
Sits in a drawer. They don't look at it again, and it's never what they think it was.
Absolutely. In our business today, we kind of changed that.
Yeah.
And this is something that I do that I wish everyone that's listening right now, that's an agent, do this. And I learned this in my practice company, so I'm thankful for that. We do a policy delivery on Zoom.
Okay.
And I show my clients everything about their policy once they're approved.
Yeah.
Like, we're not talking, now this is actual, you have this.
Yeah.
If something like this happened to you, you're going to have this money. Your family could have this.
You do this for every client.
Every client, every IOL client,
Yeah.
we get them on Zoom. We get a screen share somehow, and we go over what they have, because that right there solidified that sale,
Yeah,
right? That's one
absolutely.
thing. They're not going to cancel because now they know, like, you got approved for this. Most people don't get approved for this type of
Right.
policy, so make sure you keep this.
Yep. And that's
that.
I used I'm sure you get this question. I would get this question in the home, like, basically what separates you from everybody else? Why should I go with you versus the other 97 people that are calling me? But it's stuff like that. like we all have access to about the same carriers. I mean,
Correct.
right? In the
Correct.
space, it's like I always just tell you get what you pay for. It's like gas, right? This gas station may be 5 cents cheaper, 40 cents here and there, but for the most part, we're not sitting here crunching pennies when it comes to life insurance. But it's the other things that set you. Are you going to go above and beyond? Are you going to answer the client's phone call? Are you going to deliver the policy? Are they going to understand? Because most agents just policy gets sent to the client. They never hear from them again.
Yeah. That's a big mistake.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of agents are still doing that. Hopefully after today they don't.
Right.
Sit down with that client. I usually get a lot of referrals.
Yep.
I send them a book.
Yeah.
About, I actually wrote a book. I'm going to publish it.
You wrote a book?
I did. Because I was sending out books to my clients, and as education, I've been in this industry almost 8 years. I read every book you could imagine, because that's what we used to do at the practice company.
Yeah.
We used to read a lot of books.
Got it.
Which is good. I use it now. So educating the client on that product. Mm-hmm. So they get a gift from me, and they get the policy package. They get an actual gift, a book that's going to educate them on the product.
Yeah.
And then they get a little thank you note. Like the best way to say thank you is a referral. Who do you know that we could help protect their families, right? And I get a lot of people that call me back.
I bet.
I had Bob the other day. He's like, Digna, you got to call my friend. She got this money, and I think she's going to do this with somebody else. You got to I was laughing. He's like, you got to call her. I was like, I'm on it, Bob.
That's awesome. We'll talk about this one. Life insurance agents only care about selling policies, not about the client's needs. Now, that's true for some.
For some.
But we're talking specifically about FFL right now. Your agency, that's not true.
At all. That, like, we care so much. Like, and one thing, here's why I know we are not. Like the other companies, and I work for them, they want to put every client in a box. Right. You're going to fit in this term, in this one product, because I only have one product when I work to other companies. We qualify clients here. We put the clients in the best position. That's why we have so many companies. Yeah. Because I'm not going to say, this is the only thing for you, John. No, let me see what you qualify for. And I'm going to make sure you and your family are put in the best place possible. Right. And that's why it's not about the money or the policy. It's about that client and what they actually need for their families. Correct. Which most time they don't even know.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry. If you work at, well, I'm not sorry. If you work at one of these companies where you only have one product, you're not doing the right thing by your client. Not. There's no way. Because you have one thing to offer them.
That's it.
Imagine going to a restaurant and there's no menu, Digna. It's just, we got one meal.
We got chicken, that's it.
Yeah, that's it. You're like, well, I'm allergic to, broccoli. Well, that's just it. It's what it is.
That's what we got.
Yeah, they go out of business real quick.
I had a client on the phone the other day, and he's a Cuban guy. He's very passionate when he talks. So he's like, well, I got this policy, and it's $300,000 and blah, blah, blah. And I said, Carlos, send me pictures of your policy. So I'm on the phone. We're connecting. He sent me all the pictures. I said, did you know you have a final expense? He's a truck driver. Yeah. If, God forbid, something happens to you on that truck, your policy is going to get $35,000. Oh, my God, he was so mad. He said, $35,000? How is that even possible? Yep. I put this man in a $300,000 IUL for the same money he was paying for that final expense and a couple of accidental policies. Like, he was so grateful.
Yep. But, yeah, it comes down to, I mean, the name Family First Life isn't just a name. We do put our clients first. And because we have so many options, so many policies, and that's why IULs have been such a big thing lately, because, like, when you look at from a policy standpoint, they're a lot more powerful than the final expense, than the term. Now, obviously, you got to qualify. Correct. There are some clients, because, meeting your client's needs also comes down to getting them something that they can qualify for. Correct. So I'm not going to sit down and talk to someone who's only eligible for a final expense about this amazing IUL, because it's all based on their health. Correct. But if they're healthy enough, there's really not a better product than the IUL, and you can structure it accordingly for every specific client.
And that's important.
Correct.
You have to do that. That's why, I spent most of my presentation is discovering. It's just listening to that client and what they got going on, so I could then make a suggestion on what's best for them with that IUL.
Absolutely. You mentioned personal development. Back at your old company, you read a bunch of books, right? Yes. Do you have a favorite book or something like kind of your go-to when you need to get your mind right? Or?
Oh, my gosh, there's so many. Yeah. I just love books. I
Give me a few, some of the best ones you read.
So let's see. Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah, that's a
okay,
great
that
one.
one was amazing.
Yeah,
Atomic Habits.
that's a good
That's
one.
a great book. The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. That one really got me
Yeah.
many years ago. And then, you know what? Believe it or not, Punch Me in the Face has
Yeah.
a chapter 7
Yeah,
that was so powerful for me when I was going through some crazy times in my business because I had to put everything in a box
yeah,
and then go to work and produce at a high level. So, Sean, thank you for that chapter because it really helped me.
yeah. Absolutely, those are all great. You mentioned Jim Rohn earlier.
Yes, I love Jim Rohn.
Yeah.
And when I first heard of work harder on you
Mm-hmm.
than in your business or your work, I was an employee at the time. I was
Yeah.
like, I never heard that before. And then I went on to listen to Jim Rohn. I mean, this is 20 years ago.
Yeah, yeah.
And it changed my life. Like I made my car a university. I was just listening. I don't listen to my husband. I got rid of the TV 20 years ago.
Yeah.
There's no TVs in my house. We have one TV in the family room for movies. That's it.
Yeah.
And we just read books and get educated because if we don't do that, who else is going to do it for
Right.
us?
Yeah.
Nobody. So
I
yeah,
love what Gary Vee says. No one's coming to save you.
nobody's coming
No.
to save you.
Absolutely not.
That's right.
We had a segment here, Digna, called Ask the Agent. So I have a few questions. We were calling this Ask the Expert. I just didn't like the term expert because who says you're an expert? I don't know. But Ask the Agent. You are an agent. You're a successful agent. You're building a big business. So one of the things that a lot of agents struggle with is the beginning of building that business, right? It's like you got agents that are great at selling, and then sometimes they're not as great at building, vice versa. But that beginning is important because you could, first of all, the ROI on building a business takes a lot longer than selling a policy, right? I mean, now you get paid damn near the same day. Like, it's insane. I mean, you're over the phone selling, clients approve, they get a policy that day now, and a lot of times you're paid the next day.
Correct.
Policy's enforced, they're covered, you got your commission. Recruiting, you may not make your first override for, 6 months because of the turnover. I mean, this business is not for everyone.
Correct.
Right? I mean, would you agree with that?
100%.
You've done enough recruiting to know that.
Trust me, I have.
And how many times, Digna, is it the one that you swear I got a guy, he's going to be great,
my
she's going to be
God.
great?
Yeah, they'll do anything. I'm like, oh, they drove me crazy. That's
Correct.
what they did.
Then it's the one you least expect, right? You're like,
Yes.
I don't know, I'll get back. And then all of a sudden they start kicking ass. So you just never know.
Yes.
Here's a question, though. How do you advise new agents to prioritize their time when they're just starting out? So they're brand new. How do they prioritize their time?
That's so important. I take my new agents
Yeah.
and I meet with them on Zoom, and my managers do the same thing. Every new agent, we need to talk to them and say, okay, what is it that you want out of this business? Because not everybody wants the same thing.
Right.
Some people are very okay with a couple of $1,000s a month. Some people like myself, I'm like, no, that's not enough. I want more, right? So
Yeah.
meeting with them and setting expectations from the beginning, like, okay, what is going to be your schedule? Like I did a lot of corporate work and I used to interview a lot of people. So I got that skill, thank God. I transitioned that here. I'm
Yeah.
like, let's find out what you want to do. And I just want to take notes. Okay, what is the schedule you're going to work for this business? I like a job. Okay.
Right.
Because Walmart, if you go work for them, that's the person they're going to say. You're going to work Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and we're going to work from this time to this time. I need to know that too for my agents.
Yeah.
And then I want to set a goal, like how much money is money for you? Like it's good money for you.
Yeah,
how much money
everybody's
you want to
different.
make?
Yeah.
Everyone is different. Do you want to just produce or do you want to build an agency? And I explain the difference between the two. So I get that commitment from the beginning because I'm not going to waste my time with people that are not going to show up. If you're not on my Zoom, don't call me. I'm not picking up the
Right.
phone. You need to be on Zoom. I'm there 6 days a week from sometime 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, that's where you find me.
Right.
So setting those rules from the beginning with your agents is going to help them, leverage their time the right way. Because if you tell me I'm going to do this part-time to get started and I'm only working Wednesday and Saturdays and Sunday, and you're not on Zoom calling with me, then you're not serious. I'm not putting time or energy
Right.
on you because you don't care.
Yeah.
So for me, that's important. Set a schedule and show up, right? Because some people say, yeah, I want to do this and that, but they don't show up.
Correct.
I'm not, and I tell them, hey, listen, this is a 1099 business. So if you don't show up tomorrow to Zoom, nobody's going to call you.
Correct.
You can sleep all day.
Yep.
Guess what? I'm going to sell a policy tomorrow with or without you.
Exactly.
And I love you,
Yep.
but show up and I give you my all.
Yeah.
And that's what I do every day. Those are active and working. I'm all in with them.
That's awesome. And one of the reasons why you can do that is because you know how to sell. So like there's some people that come here and they think I'm not going to sell, Digna. I'm just going to build a business. It's not going to work.
It's not going to work.
It's not going to work.
How can I teach my agents how to properly deliver an IUL or talk to a client or qualify a client if I'm not doing it? It's not going to work.
No. And I guess hopefully you grow to a point to where you can't sell, like you won't have time to sell anymore.
Right.
But you're not there yet.
Not yet. I'm still selling.
Right.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people that try to rush that. Like, I'm trying to get out of the field. Like, you'll know when it's time to get out of the field.
That's the best part of this business.
Yeah.
When I get on the phone with a client and I protect them, that I'm fired up again. Like I'm ready to get started all over again.
So it sounds like, what you're doing with your agents early on is finding out their why.
Yes.
And if you agree with this, if your why isn't big enough, you won't have success in this business. Correct. Or any entrepreneur, any type of independent work.
Any business. You're just not going to go at it when it gets tough.
Yeah.
And I do a lock-in once a month.
Okay.
I do a lot of copy and paste in my business. Mm-hmm. So my mentor, Marissa Mazziotti, that's how I learned how to do lock-ins. I used to do it with her. Yeah. So now I do it in Spanish. So once a month, when that first day of the lock-in at nighttime, we get together and we talked about our why. Everybody's talking about their why, and I'm finding out why you're here. And oh my gosh, it's the best part of the business. And once I know, I could see like this one is going to take off because she has a strong why.
Right.
The how doesn't matter. They're going to figure it out just like I did.
Absolutely. That's awesome. What's your why? What drives you to this day?
So I started with my kids, right? Being a stay-home mom and all that. I did that. So for most people, it's like, okay, my bills are paid.
So that was your original why.
That was my original why. Today is the why of my team. Oh my gosh, when I have those lock-ins and I sit down and everybody's crying and we're hugging and we're laughing and everybody's telling me why they're doing this, especially with the Latinos, we like very dramatic kind of people.
I know. I married into a Latino.
Really?
Yes.
I
my wife
it.
is Puerto Rican Mexican.
Oh, cool. All right. So, hey, go Latina.
So they're passionate, they're dramatic and everything. And I have 4 kids and they're all the same way. Yes.
Wow, so I love it. Okay, so
I can confirm.
You can understand me.
Yes.
So when we get together and we start talking about our why and what we left behind, why we're doing this, and I see the tears and I see the hope and the dream to do something amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I cannot sleep. I'm up earlier every single day. I'm fired up every day because now it's not my why, it's the why of the team.
Yeah.
And I'm all in. I'm like,
that's awesome.
Forget it. I won't stop.
Yeah. Well, that's you have to revisit your why, right? Because like you said, your original why was stay home with the kids. Well, you've done that. Well, now you need a newer and bigger one because you're not going to get here with the same why that got you here.
Absolutely not. And lately, the why got even bigger.
Yeah.
And I always worked in English before. Yeah. And in 2023, I transitioned to Spanish. And, oh, my gosh, I'm, like, in love with the Hispanic market, right? Because I see all this Hispanic coming into this country. They're professionals.
Yeah.
They do an Uber. They are, Lyft and whatever, cleaning houses, whatever they could do that they could speak Spanish because they don't speak the language.
Correct.
So when I'm able to take one of those people and just like, hey, here, go get a license in Spanish, and they get contracted. And then these people go to work, and they make money like they used to make as a professional.
Yeah.
It's changed forever. So my new why, there's 62 million Hispanics in the U.S., and most of them don't know that they could get a license and serve clients in their language. So I am, if you're Hispanic and you're listening, you need to call us.
Yeah. What platforms are you on social media?
I'm on all the platforms with my name, Digna Deleon-Morris.
Got it.
And you'll find me there. And I tell you, because I'm passionate about it, because there's more for them in this country. That American dream, it's real.
Yeah.
You just got to find a level 10 opportunity. Most of the opportunities in the insurance business is a level 2. Mm-hmm. You're not going to be able to grow a big agency and make the money that you want to make in some of those companies. I'm sorry, you're not.
Right.
You need to be here with us.
Yeah.
Period. Like, that's it.
Absolutely. Love it. But it's crazy that, when you said that, like, most Latinos have no idea that they could take the exam. First of all, they have no idea that what you could do in the insurance industry.
Right.
And they have no idea that you can take the exam in Spanish, have Spanish leads, Spanish marketing,
the
like
whole thing. And we put it together.
Yeah.
So they just got to call us.
Right. When we ask some of these carriers, it's funny. They're like, "Oh, we have someone that speaks Spanish." You could tell, like, this guy never does anything because no one ever asks. They're like, "Yeah, we'll bring him too." You know, like it's just some dude sitting there waiting.
Yeah, I call every carrier. I say, "Who speaks Spanish?
Yeah.
I need them on my LACIN. They need to train my team." And we have some great ones. Like I just love them.
Yeah.
We have the best companies.
Absolutely.
I'm really happy about that.
We talked about taking care of clients, right? I saw this article about IULs. IULs can be great.
Yes.
But just like anything that's great, somebody can screw them up, right?
Absolutely.
There's and you see this stuff all the time. A lot of lawsuits with sometimes the insurance carrier gets named, sometimes the producer. So there was one, I won't give out the names, but there's an agent right now that is being sued for basically misrepresenting an IUL, right?
Wow.
They set it up the wrong way, to sum it up, which I think happens so often.
Yes.
Because if an IUL set up the right way, you can earn money. It can last you forever. You can set up a tax-free retirement. You can set up college funds. But the key is it has to be set up the right way.
Correct.
In the IUL writing process, there's an illustration.
Correct.
Unfortunately, some agents show an illustration that may not be the illustration for your product. Maybe something that is just, lack of better words, bullshit, right?
Yeah.
I show you these amazing returns, but then I set you up in something that's not that way. And then we talked about earlier where not all agents follow up with clients. Client gets up. So there's a situation now where, and I'm sure there's a bunch of these, where the client's upset because a year later found out what the agent said was not. They didn't deliver, pretty much, right? You sell a lot of IULs,
I
right?
do.
How do you make sure that, number one, your clients understand what you're presenting them, but also you're giving them exactly what they need?
Yeah, that's great. So I bring them on Zoom or we screen share.
Yeah.
And I build the illustration with them. They see in everything. And I show them. So when I go in and I click, I put their information so they see it. They see me logging in into the company, right? So that's a lot of credibility right there.
Yeah.
And then I go in and then I say, okay, Carlos, this is the way you can set up an IUL. And I show them at the top of the illustration.
Yeah.
You could do minimum death benefit, which is what I would like for you, but we're going to look at the other options because it all depends on what I found out on my discovery. Right? They have a mortgage. They have young kids. So I'll explain how much insurance you should need at that point.
Yeah.
But I show them this is the way we could do it, and this is what it would look like with that amount of money they gave me. And I show those numbers. And I say, you're writing this down. And then I go, okay, now we could do a balance. We could do, death benefit and cash value. We could split it.
Yeah.
And this is what that would look like. Obviously, your insurance cost is going to go up. And I show them, and then based on what they told me, we build that illustration together. And then I go into the market and I show them in the illustration. You see here, we are illustrating at 6.44%. This is what has happened in the last 20 years. Now let's look at the market. What happened since 2008? We lost this much, but look, the person with an IUL got zero.
Right.
So you won't get anything that year.
Right, but you won't lose.
But you won't lose anything. And then I show them the numbers. And then by the end of that conversation, they're making an informed decision based on what they actually need. And if you don't do that for your clients and you're just putting everybody in a box, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
And I show them my IUL and my husband's IUL.
Oh, really?
And I show them the cash value accumulated.
Yeah.
I do that. I want them to see.
Yeah.
This is real, right? I love that.
It's just being transparent.
Yes.
Right? And it's almost like, take a step back. What would you want someone to do for you in that situation?
Exactly.
I mean, it sounds like, and it's not just, I've seen a handful of these where it sounds like they have like this blanket illustration that looks great, right? Wow. They show you that. Oh, yeah, it's great. Get you to agree. And they just throw you in whatever's going to pay them the most commission. I'm not saying this happened here. This is my own,
Yeah, but people would do something like that's crazy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then, unfortunately, most clients don't look at their policies. Right. So how many are being set up and have no idea they're in the wrong?
What they have.
Right.
And that's why we do the policy delivery.
Yeah.
Because what I show, and then I meet back with them, right? Once they get an approval and they pay that first premium, I say, remember what I show you? Now here's what you got approved for. And now they see
Right.
the same number.
And I see it again.
They see it again, and
Yeah.
they get a package.
Yeah.
And I want them to know what they have, because most people, like you said, they don't even know that
Right.
what they have. People pass away, and the family doesn't know they have a policy.
Absolutely.
And I want to know who needs to know about this policy if something happens to you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's huge.
That's awesome. And, yes, it takes more time, but I would venture to guess that your persistency is probably at a very high level right now.
In October, when I got my report, was at 98%.
98%.
Yeah, I was blown away. I was
That's
like,
crazy.
yes.
And at 500,000 sold, you've probably sold 400 or 500 policies this year.
A lot.
So let's say it's 500. That means of the 500, like 490 are still in the books. I'm not a mathematician, but I'm sure that's exactly right. But hey, this has been great. I appreciate everything that you're doing. Let everybody know real quick before we wrap up why they need to go to annual convention.
Oh my gosh, I'm such a lover of conventions.
Yeah.
Like, I was in network marketing,
Yeah.
and you gotta go to convention.
Absolutely.
And that's where I changed my life. That's where I was able to see more. I had a vision like, there's more. These people are making money, right? So when I went to my first convention here, and I took 10 agents with me,
Yeah.
some of them left, but there's like 3 of them. One of them has a big agency with me right now, because she quit her job from the convention, by the way.
Right.
Ephrasia, she's amazing. But for me, if you don't go to convention, you're not really in the business.
No.
Like, you're just playing with this.
Right.
Right now, you're in family first life, but when you go to convention, family first life is in you.
I like
And
that.
you see so many people walking that stage, and you hear the stories, and you're like, I could do that. So for me, it's a non-negotiable. When
Yeah.
I'm hiring a lot of agents right now, and I say, we have this event, it's this dates, and you have to be there. That's part of working with me and having my time.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not even going to, okay, then you're not working with me. You're working with somebody else.
Right.
Because to me, here's the thing. I brought 50 agents last convention, 2023. Wow. And of those agents, there's like 15 that are 6-figure earners today because they went to convention.
Right.
I don't have to do such a big job now because
Exactly.
they already heard it from everybody else. I have a girl that she said, even if you don't talk to me, I'm still going to do this because I saw it. I saw too many people walking that stage.
Right.
So it makes it easier. If you're smart and you're a good leader, you just like make it non-negotiable. And that's how I do it. Like, I want to bring a lot of Hispanics to that convention.
Love it.
We
got the room. Good. Hopefully we'll blow out that room and we'll need to get a bigger one next year.
Yes.
50 agents you brought, 15 went on to do over 100K. How many quit though?
Of the ones that went to convention,
Yeah.
I looked at the picture the other day.
Yeah.
And there's maybe 5
Yeah.
that they went to do
Good.
something else. Everybody else is still in.
Right.
That's crazy.
And I mean, but it's great for that too. It's going to weed people out.
Yes.
I promise you, if you go to the annual convention, you'll
Yes.
know if this is for you or not by
not.
the time you're done.
Correct.
So of the 50, 15 went on to kill it,
Yep.
and 5 quit, and we're good with both because those 5 shouldn't have been here in the first place.
Correct.
So go to fflconvention.com to register. There you can register for the Spanish convention on there too. All
Yes.
$99. I mean, you've been in network marketing. What's the most you paid for an event?
Oh my gosh, thousands.
Thousands.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like go VIP, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like you could have never made that.
No.
Like it's like $3,000. I'm like, I can do
Crazy.
that. Yeah.
Our VIP sold out, and our
Yes.
VIP means you sit closer to the stage, so you
Right.
got better chance of getting free leads, and you get to meet the keynote speakers, which we've paid millions to bring all these guys in.
I can't believe it's $99.
Right?
That's insane to me.
Yeah.
I'm like,
For the whole time, not $99 a day, for
Thank
the
you,
entire
Sean.
time. Yes.
Thank you, Mike.
So thank you, and thank you, Digna. Guys, thanks for watching. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. And meet us in Dallas, Irving, Texas next year. Go to fflconvention.com. Also, we have a room block at the Westin. So I don't know if you stayed there last year, but it's attached to the damn place.
awesome.
You walk right across the street. So if you book through us, you'll save about $500 on your stay for the week. So hopefully we'll see you then. Also, if you like this train, if you like this podcast, we had Mallory Cruz up a few weeks ago. Nice. So you talk about, that why, wanting to be with your kids from home. She has an amazing podcast where she talks about how to sell 50 policies a month from home. So check that out too. And you know where to find us every week right here on True Talk. We'll see you next week.